Here we go. And we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Smart Realty Show, episode number 2.
That's it. Here at the Smart Realty Show, our goal is to start your real estate.
That is right. That is what we do. That's what we do. And I'm bringing down the volume quietly. Even though I really like this intro song.
I love this intro song.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
For a while.
It just works,
It's Friday,
man.
I would just put it on and oh my goodness.
It's all good. Hey, Jessica, how you doing?
I'm good. I mean, you live with me, so you should know I'm good.
Yeah, but that's...
How are you doing, baby?
That's small talk, so you can actually express how you doing.
I'm supposed to, small talk.
Small talk for everybody that's watching us, and we are in our new home.
Oh, and not our new house. So we're... A couple of people thought we were moving, which I guess it sounded that way. But now, hopefully, we're streaming on our business Facebook page. So if you're joining us today, that's very exciting. You remembered, you got the memo, or you are getting notifications. So welcome back.
That's right. So if you wouldn't mind, if you are watching this, just take a moment and share this with your acquaintance people. Make sure that you do that for us, and we will be very grateful.
People. I like it.
What would you call it?
Acquaintances.
Acquaintances?
But you know what? I really prefer acquaintance people.
Yes.
So we're going to stick with that.
All right, Jess. So what did you explain to the peeps? What is it that we're going to be talking about today?
Well, we're excited. Last week, for those of you who were able to tune in, last week we had not a realtor. We're realtors. We had a lender on with us, a loan officer, and he kind of broke down what you need to do to get qualified for a loan. If you're looking to buy a house, most of the times people come in, instead of having cash on hand and buying the house outright, you qualify for a loan. So he really broke down in great detail what you should do and different things to prepare yourself. And the hope was that he would come back today, but good news for them, it's his anniversary. So he's not able to join us today, but we're excited. Next week he'll be back, and we're going to put off our old topic today, which was the various types of residential home loans. So that'll be next week with him as well.
Yes, indeed. And just so you know, we are broadcasting from our business page. So if you wouldn't mind helping out by sharing this post, that would be more than appreciated. We truly would be thankful. Jessica, so what are we talking about today?
So today, we had to think last minute. Just kidding. No.
Quickly. What are we talking about?
So today we're actually going to be talking about, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about how to accelerate the process of you actually buying a house.
True. It's been a long day, guys. So my mind kind of went
just
blank for a second.
It went.
What are we talking about? Yes, that's what we're discussing.
Jess.
That would be it.
Well, there's a lot of
Shameful.
things. We are in the midst of a series on all the things buying your house. And one of the stuff that, there's so much that goes into it. So we decided to break it down into small little sections. Mm-hmm. The number one thing that people need to do is prepare in order for them to be able to get a loan, a mortgage.
So that's what the whole topic's really going to be about. The underlining theme that you'll see is prepare. There's nothing... Preparedness is not going to outplay anything else. If you can prepare, then you're going to be in a strong situation, in a great position to be able to buy.
And you know what, guys? One of the things that I usually say is there's only one thing you need to buy a house, and that is money. The good news is that it doesn't always have to be your money.
I love that.
Yeah, that's all you need. You need money. You want anything in this world and
It's
that's
just
for
cash.
sale, all you need is money. But sometimes we don't have all the money we need. So
Right.
I would say 99% of us, of all
9
people,
out of 10.
9 out of 10 people need to get into a mortgage, need to get into a loan.
Right. So that's why, the previous podcast, if you want to tune into that, if you're curious about the specifics, directly from a loan officer, he was really detailed and had a lot of really good information. But today we're going to talk about maybe some tips or tricks, some ideas, things that you should have kind of at the forefront of your mind if you're looking to accelerate. We've spoken a lot about over these past couple of weeks how we're in a kind of a tough market if you're a buyer right now. Properties are moving very quickly and there's a lot of competition. So we're going to give you just some information and some different thoughts that you should keep in mind if you're trying to buy a house right now.
Yes, indeed. And one of the first things that we want to talk about is what do you need in order to get ready, like you say, that preparedness, right? What do you need? How would you get yourself in the best position you possibly could, right?
So what we always say is, you want to start assembling your team. That's what we talk about. Assemble your team. And it sounds like the Avengers. That's why I like it. So you want to assemble your team. You want to start interviewing different real estate agents and different lenders, because that person that you're going to be working with, they are a team. They're going to come alongside of you, whoever your lender is and your real estate agent, and they're going to be not only speaking with you a lot, but with each other. And so there needs to be clear communication. It needs to be somebody ideally that you like, but that also has programs and is able to sit down. And I like what Dave Ramsey says, how he says it has somebody that has a heart of a teacher. So somebody that will also break it down and has the knowledge and expertise to, team up with you.
And Jessica, I'm looking at, since I think things changed since we used to do the podcast, and I'm not really able to share the post. So we're really gonna need people to just go out of the way and share them. Even if you are watching on the replay, one of the things that you see me as, like, I'm looking at my phone and it's like, hey, you're in the middle of the show. I'm just trying to like share this and make sure people that find out that we're live. But
Not ignoring
I'm
me?
not ignoring you completely. Well, yeah, a little bit, but no, I'm just kidding.
Oh, it makes me feel like my voice gets too
but that's kind of like what I'm trying to work out from here, and so I apologize for that. Let's just go ahead and do the show, and I guess most people are gonna have to see just the replay,
Yeah, that works.
and that works just as
So
fine.
maybe just because we're on the business page, but that works.
Yeah, and you know what? One of the things that we wanted to let you know is we want this page to grow. We want the YouTube content to grow. So you're what you're seeing now is basically that is the growing pains. Is trying to improve, is trying to make better and better content for you guys and make sure that we are available. One of the heart within the show is to share what we know, is to partner up with you with all the detail and information you need. This may not be applicable for you right now.
Well, and not all the information, because we really only do like a 20 to 30 minute show and we talk and ramble a lot. So it's to give you bullet points and some information. So just main points.
Well, since you are here with us, let's just take a moment and share the names of the social media you can find us at. You can find us always at Aldo Ruiz, at Spark Realty Aldo, and at Spark Realty Jessica on Instagram. So follow us there and let's be friends on Facebook. Those are our personal ones. Just so you know, this number is the business number. You can text us whether we're live, whether it's the replay, whether it's 5 weeks since the show's come out. This is a business line, and Jessica's will reply to you. That's not true, because I'm the one that replies. I'm like, yeah.
Ooh, my job description just changed.
This is our website. If you are interested in starting the search process, go to that website, create a profile, and click away, find a way. One of the things that we say is that, there are tools out there that you can use, but they're not always super up to date.
Yeah,
so go ahead and check that out. This is the YouTube channel. We have up to now, Jessica, we have like 8 subscribers. So
wow, slowly but surely.
yeah, we're not gonna stop until we get to the
Didn't
million.
we start at 4 or 6 or something?
Yeah. This is the
good job, guys.
Of course, you are here. You're looking at this page, but let's get started. Let's just get started with the show, and let's take it away.
So that's it. So really you want to start with assembling your team. Start the interviews, start a lot of people. There's over 80,000, I just checked again. There's over 80,000 agents in Maricopa County in Arizona right now. So we like to say and joke around that most people know about 5, 6 agents. So, you're going to have referrals from your friends, from coworkers, through yourself that you know of. So if you know of different agents, definitely take the time, sit down with them, or do a Zoom call these days and have a conversation with them. Ask them questions. You're going to be working with them for a while, so have the conversation, ask them different questions, and start figuring out who you want to work with as far as your agent and your lender, what type of programs the lender's going to offer. And, we have clients that we know of clients that have been looking to prepare and buying a house maybe a year out from now, 2 years out. Never too early to start kind of that process and putting out feelers. I would definitely say within a year is when you want to start.
Yeah, and you know what? Not all agents are the same. Not all agents are cut by the same scissors. So by all means interview,
Yeah.
especially if it's family. One thing you need to know about family is that you're familiar, right? Your family member. There's closeness to it. So when it comes to a business transaction, sometimes family is not the best idea.
Unless
But
you know them, unless you know their work
unless you
ethic
know
and
their
their
work ethic,
expertise.
I would
Yeah.
say hire because of the results more than
Yeah.
more than your connection.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
agree.
would be my suggestion. Even with our lender, we have a lender that we love and trust, and we always say, listen, shop,
Yeah.
because as
And he'll
wonderful as
tell you
he
that as
is,
well. Yeah.
there are programs are exclusive to
Mhm.
like federal credit unions,
Mhm.
and you can only get those by
Shopping.
shopping with them. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. All right. So tip number 2 would be, oh, that's tip number 3. I'm sorry. I
That works too, though. That goes with it.
Well, yeah, the tip number 2 is actually, we were talking about that, is get pre-approved sooner than later.
And that's kind of what we talked about last week. So you want to go through and get qualified for a loan. A lot of agents, they're not going to show houses unless you're pre-approved because of how quickly properties are moving.
If not every agent, right?
Yeah.
Because when you submit an offer, you are required to submit with that pre-approval that says that, hey, this guy has all his ducks in a row. He's got the capital or the financing in order for them to get this. So a seller would not even consider your offer, wouldn't even look at it, because you can't prove that you're ready to go.
And how sad has it been when we've shown houses before a client has had their pre-approval ready to go, their pre-qualification, and I think it's happened 2 or 3 times. 2 for
Yeah,
sure
it's
that I can
happened. It's
recall.
happened a few times. Unfortunately for us, because um, we 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 had some proximity with these individuals, and then and they're pretty actually. You would assume they're pretty financially savvy, and
Ready
everything
to
is in
go.
order. And they went to look at. We went to see this house, and they were like, "All right, so how do I get a loan?"
I love it. I love it.
Oh my goodness! I mean,
Wait.
but you know what? That was a little bit on us.
Yeah.
We should have just gone through the protocol. So, fall once and then get up and then
Yeah.
just adjust. So from now on, every single conversation that we have has to do with how are you going to buy, how are you going to pay for this house?
Yeah.
Do you have what you need? Do you have cash? Well, we need proof from
And
that.
sometimes we've already started the conversation with your lender. They've done the application, but there's maybe a document that's missing, so you don't have that pre-qualification yet. Pre-qualification is extremely important.
And there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
We spoke all last show about how to get pre-approved, how to get a loan, right? But one of the biggest things that I feel like we underserved and we didn't have enough time to talk about was the asset part of it, which is money, right? You need money in order to borrow all this other money. And so there's a lot of strategies that go into it. I made a call before the show to one of our past clients, Alfonso, and he was really
Shout out.
really kind to. If he was able to, he would have been on the show. As a matter of fact, on a phone call, and we would have interviewed him. But
That would've been
basically,
awesome.
what he said, it was amazing. Within the first time that we sat with him, I would say about 10 months have passed, right?
Yeah.
And every month he was saving money. He did
And
everything
working
he could.
on on his
Everything he
qualification.
could. Out of all the things that he said, we have some tips and tricks right now. He basically nailed them all. He
Yeah.
was doing everything in his power to get himself in the best position to get his home loan.
And that's the thing. I mean, we know that the process of buying a house, it's a process. It's not something that most people can just wake up and decide, I want to buy a house and have the keys the next day. It doesn't usually work like that. And so, if you're running a race, they're going to shout out, go, start. Well, even before you say go start, there's preparation, there's training that needs to take place. And that's a lot of what this has to do with getting yourself prepared and ready to go.
Yeah, and one of the things that it's super important, that's tip number 3, is save as much money as possible.
Yes.
And as I said, Alfonso, when I
Yeah.
was talking to him,
was
he
on
was
it.
doing every single of these steps. So we
Yeah.
have a few tips here, Jessica. Number 1 is create a budget.
Yeah.
It's so crucial. It's so simple yet so powerful.
And so underutilized.
So underutilized,
Yeah.
and a lot of people don't know how to do that.
And just even by creating the budget, I mean, you're going to see all of the different areas that maybe you're spending more on, because you'll say, oh, I could spend this much on food or this much on whatever, right? But then you're going to start checking it with your bank account and realize, oh, no.
Yeah, basically a budget is you telling your money what to do instead of your money telling you what you can do.
You don't
right?
want that.
You don't want to be at the end of the month not having enough to cover the bills because you didn't manage it for the whole month.
And let alone saved so you could actually buy a house. If that's your goal, our goal is to align with you, and let's make it happen.
Creating a budget is step number one to saving money, because it's going to open your eyes. It's going to let you know where you are, and it can create a map of where you need to go, right? All those actions need to follow that. All right, so the next tip would be set an amount goal. It's not going. There it is. All right, set an amount goal. So depending on, we already spoke about what you need to do, and some of that money is a down payment, right? We spoke a little bit about down payment assistance. We spoke a little bit about a lot of different things, but setting an amount goal of how much you're able to save is going to determine what you need to do.
Well, and if we know that we're working with percentages, if we know that the minimum is going to be anywhere between 3 and 5% just for a down payment, not including any closing costs, then you want to work your way backwards. Think about, start even just shopping online, just seeing what type of properties you're liking, what those values, what the prices actually are, and then work your way backwards for your cash that you should save.
So it goes tied, it's tied together, right? Because once you have your budget, once you have your set amount, then you can look at all the expense lines and you can say, identify and then stop the waste.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's so much waste.
I know.
There is like so much stuff that we allow ourselves to spend that in reality, if you ask yourself, do I need it or do I want it? And right now, the want needs to be the amount goal, right?
If your goal is to buy a house, yep, that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Because if your goal to buy a house isn't stronger than, whatever it is on the monthly, then it might be tougher or longer for you to get there. And these are just things that we're suggesting if you want to accelerate, right? And it makes sense, right? If you cut, it's just like losing weight, right? You cut your calories, you increase your exercise, you're going to lose the weight. So same thing here. If we can increase your income and if we can decrease what you're spending, then that's going to accelerate how quickly you're going to have the cash on hand to be able to have more freedom and purchasing power when you buy the house.
That's right. Another really quick and easy thing to do, which is well, I'm going to say easy, quote unquote, because we're all at different levels.
What do you say? Cook at home.
Cook at home. Cook at home. I mean, it's amazing how much money we spend on eating out.
He's saying we, because not so much. Come on.
I was being generalized. I was generalizing. But I mean, it truly is quite a lot of money that you spend by eating out.
Depending. I mean, you go out once a week, that's one thing. We definitely, just letting you know a little bit about us, we used to eat out twice a day. So if you are like us, then we suggest cut it back a little bit.
Yeah, because once you start adding that up, oh my goodness, it's such an insane amount of money. So cook at home. I mean, it doesn't have to be all gourmet, or it doesn't have to be all complicated stuff. It's something as simple as packing a lunch.
Yeah, absolutely.
So go to work. Imagine if you work 5 days a week and you spend about $15 every day for lunch.
Yeah, it adds up.
Yeah, it absolutely does. That's $75 a week.
Yeah.
Right. So if you pack your lunch, then you're not gonna have that expense.
Yeah.
So definitely is something to consider. It's one of those hacks that you can do at home. The next one would be shop your utilities and your plans.
Yeah.
Because you can't believe how many times we're overpaying for things that we don't need. Let's talk about phones.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your utilities, your electricity.
Or the electricity, they have the various plans that you can go in there and
I mean,
adjust.
there's sometimes people can save money by going to the little card, the prepaid card, right? And they're more mindful of how much they use and how much they're going to be saving.
Whatever works for you.
Right. At the end of the day, these are behaviors, right?
Right.
These are behaviors. So we need to adjust the behaviors in order to maximize the returns. Then of course we have cancel subscriptions. Everything's subscription based now, man. You pay $10 here, $15, $14.99. I mean, you add the Netflix, the Hulus, the
Prime.
the Prime.
We're keeping our Prime.
Well, yeah. There are things. Of course, we're not saying go without.
No.
We're not saying go without. But consider
if there's things that you can cut.
Consider auditing your subscriptions.
Yeah.
Right? There's things that are like ridiculous.
Or even on your phone, you go through and you'll have like
your phone, the apps that charge you
apps.
things. Like sometimes we have multiples of the same thing, like the calorie tracking ones. the exercise and workout stuff.
Mhm.
At one point we had a few at the same time, and they were premium.
Yeah.
So cancel them. Save yourself all that hassle and things. Of course, one of the things that you can always do is get a second job,
Oh yeah.
a part-time job.
Well, and it's so awesome. I mean, I love everything. What is it? Uber, Postmates, maybe not Ubering so much right now with COVID. I don't know, up to you, your safety, but Postmates, Uber Eats, DoorDash. I mean, there's so Instacart, I hear
Instacart is
that
super
people do
popular right
really
now.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: you're not gonna use that to justify your income a
Mhm.
month, right? To get a loan, but it could definitely pay for your closing costs,
Your closing costs help with your down
help
payment.
with
I
your
mean,
down payment.
absolutely.
So you can actively work towards getting all this money. And think about it: buying a house is expensive. It has closing costs. It has the
Down payment.
prepaids. It has a down payment. Then you get in the house, and then you hate the color of the paint, and you want to paint. Now the paint doesn't match the windows, the window drapes. Now you got to change the drapes. Now the drapes don't match your shoes. Now you got to change your shoes, right? So it's quite pricey, man.
Yeah.
Now that sofa doesn't look that good there. Now you want to change
You gotta
that.
change
So
the landscaping
so
or-
all of
yeah.
that is going to help you be in the best position possible. And that's what we're talking about. Accelerating your position to be ready to pull the
Yeah.
trigger when you are
When
ready.
it's time. Absolutely.
When the opportunity shows itself. Okay, so tip number 4.
So those were just to recap, right? We want to assemble our team, start interviewing different agents and lenders so that you can figure out what your plan is. Get yourself on a plan, whether you're ready to buy now or if it's going to take 6 months.
Let me get rid of that. That was already going to tip number 4.
We want to assemble our team. And then from there, get yourself pre-approved. Again, that's really why it's helpful to speak, first of all, with a lender, because they can figure out if you're ready to get pre-approved now or if it might take you 3-6 months, right? If you've got a plan, you want to work.
And I'll save as much money as possible. We gave you a few alternatives to do that as fast as possible. And not lastly, but next tip would be
Drive the neighborhoods.
why drive the neighborhoods?
So, okay,
Why?
we say drive the neighborhoods because you want to get to, if you've been here for 5-10 years.
Thank you.
Oh, hi, Mike. If you've been here for a while, you know the community, you know the Phoenix metro area pretty well. But if you drive down one street here and compared to the next, it's very different in Phoenix. Each street is completely different. So we just suggest while you're in the middle of getting pre-approved or you're working on that, one thing that can help prepare you and get you ready is to know where you want to live and not maybe just your dream or ideal location, but start driving other areas. That way you can see maybe there's alternative places that you're open to.
Right. So it's many-fold, right? Because not only is going to give you an idea of what's available, it's going to open your eyes at the pricing, right? It's going to be a reality check. Maybe you can afford it. Maybe you can't afford it right now. Maybe you need to work twice as hard in order for you to be able to afford the down payment. Or maybe it's not all that it's cracked out to be.
Right, maybe you thought
right?
it was going to be amazing and you realized you hate the stores, the grocery stores around there.
Or,
I don't know.
or maybe the streets are narrow, or maybe there's a questionable car. There's cars on the driveway. There's things that tick you off that don't tick me off.
Right.
But there's definitely a cup of tea for everybody.
Yeah.
So drive the neighborhood is actually a really great idea because no one really thinks about that until it's time to actually go see the
there.
house. And unfortunately, we focus on the house,
Right, not the
not
neighborhood.
so much the neighborhood. So yeah, that's pretty genius. Yeah. All right, so then we have tip number 5: be on the same page. Oh my goodness, this one is super important.
Now, if we're talking, why is this something that we say can help accelerate? If you've got 2 decision makers that are also listening to their children's strong opinion and that's over, weighing more than the parents' own decisions, that's gonna create conflict and slow things down a little.
Yes. I mean, there's a few things that are waste timers, and this is definitely one of them. Because if for instance, let's say that one decision maker is really is really set on having a pool, and another one is not, then what do? Do you show them houses with a pool, or do you show them houses without a pool?
So I think actually the key word would be being flexible. If there are multiple decision makers, once you start getting out there and you're seeing these houses and you're seeing how competitive it is, you want to be flexible. You want to get the house, of your dreams, I guess, the house that you're aiming for. But that's going to be very difficult if you're not flexible with other decision makers.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that being flexible would be also being on the same page about being
Right.
flexible.
Yeah.
Compromise,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
You have to be on one accord in order for
Compromise.
you to be able to have a common goal.
Right. And
There's
then
no
to work
way.
towards that goal and achieve
Right.
it.
Otherwise, it's gonna be very difficult for you to be able to
gonna make it
succeed.
harder.
Yeah. Well, it's not impossible, but
No.
it's just unnecessary, quite honestly. All right, and then lastly, guys, know your strategy. This is super important because if you don't know where you're aiming at, you're gonna be hitting it, and you're gonna be hitting the air and not know.
Right. Right. And so we
Talk
talk
a little
about
more,
strategy. Like you said, with the money, the financial aspect of it, you can purchase the house with cash, or you can, get the money from a loan. A lot of people, though, also need to sell their house in order to buy the next house.
That's right.
So one thing to think through is that creates a whole different strategy, and we can probably actually have a show just on that, different ideas and stuff. But I mean, in an ideal world, you sell your house first, then you have the cash, you can put a cash offer, and then move in shortly afterwards, right? But then you have that time in between where you're gonna live.
That's right. So the strategy is knowing your do's and your don'ts, what you're willing to do and you're not willing to do, right? If, for instance, like Jessica says, if you are buying a house by using the equity of the house that you already own, well, then that's a different strategy. That if you're just renting, because even if you're renting, your lease ends at a certain amount of time, right? At a certain date. So that changes the strategy. That changes when you start looking.
Right.
That changes when you start talking to a lender. That changes when you need to close.
Right.
So knowing your strategy is basically having a roadmap of where you are, what it's going to take for you to get to the end, right? That is basically what we do. We sit down with our clients and we are building up the strategy. Every strategy is different.
With their lender, it all comes back to you having a team that you're working with.
That's right. So in the process, you're going to have, so everything's absolutely intertwined, right?
Yeah.
The better position. So at the end of the day, if you are not really paying attention or is not really making a lot of sense, need to know this, okay? Cash truly is king.
Yeah.
Because it's better to have it and not need it
than to need it and not have it.
That's right.
How many times has he said this,
yeah,
right?
many times.
Yeah.
So preparation, when preparation meets opportunity,
yeah, absolutely.
that's when you are truly successful, right? Because you were ready for that.
You're ready for the opportunity once it came.
Think about how many of us felt left out from all the investors that in 2008 were taking advantage of the collapse.
Right.
2008, 2009.
Because they had the opportunity and the preparedness.
Right, because they were ready to be in the position to basically buy half of Phoenix. Right. It's like, welcome to my city.
That's true. There were years.
Yeah, absolutely.
True. So that's the whole thing, guys. We're just saying be prepared the best you can. If you're thinking that you're ready and in position to buy right now, that's great. A lot of this might not apply to you. If you think that maybe you've got some time, that you're thinking 6 months to a year, these are the things that you really want to start right now.
Absolutely. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. We are here to help you in whether it's a small question, a big question, whether you want to actually go on the path of homeownership or investing and whatever it might be related to real estate. You can always reach us on the numbers on the screen. You can find us on Instagram. I mean, really, we are here for you. We are trying to make ourselves as available as possible. And we're trying to spread the message.
As possible. Just kidding.
Yeah. You know what? We're realtors, but we are learning how to become better communicators, right?
Absolutely.
So thank you. And again, sorry about not being able to share it. Normally I'm able to share, but if you are watching this.
But applause to you. I mean, you've done all of this. So, I mean, you're phenomenal. Good job.
Thank you. Take a moment for myself. But listen, if you're watching this and then you find some value, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. Consider commenting and sharing, giving us a like and a follow. We will be really excited to talk to you and help you if the need rises. You know, we're basically working in your time. So if it makes sense, it makes sense.
One other thing I will say on the just preparing yourself, a lot of the offers that are coming in, if there's multiple offers, there's something known as contingencies. If it's contingent upon your home selling, that might make your offer not as strong as somebody that's not contingent. If you're asking for concessions as far as getting cash from the seller to help maybe cover your closing costs, all these little things could make your offer not as strong compared to the others. So the less contingencies we have, the stronger your offer, the more prepared you've been. So more likelihood that your offer will get accepted.
And again, nobody's gonna quiz you on any of this.
No.
You don't have to remember. There's not gonna be a pop-up quiz at the end. It was like, now we're gonna grade you. No.
Delete from being
all this advice is all the advice that we've given throughout the years, right? And your strategy is gonna be your strategy.
What works for you.
What works for you when it works for you.
And our job is to figure out what your goal is so that we can figure out the best strategy.
Absolutely. So again, we are so excited and thankful that you tuned in, whether it's right now or the repeat. But it was really exciting. Thank you guys. We are in the business page in Facebook. So thank you so much. And remember to be kind to one another.
Aw. Because a kind heart opens more doors than 100 keys.
Amen.
Oh, wow. Hey, it's sticking.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. God bless you. We'll see you later.
Take care.